Heroin is bad, but research says alcohol is worse. At least that's the way it is for babies in their mother's wombs.
And President Obama's executive order for the immigrant parents of citizen children gets its day in court.
And a young photographer starts her own business. I'm Kevin Maestas.
I'm Kelly Urvanejo, and this is UNM News.
Many people view alcohol as the drug that causes the least harm to a developing fetus. They are unaware of the effects that alcohol can have on an unborn baby, particularly when compared to other illicit drugs. University of New Mexico clinical psychologist Teresa Moyers says many pregnant women are unaware of the risks to their unborn babies' health when the women consume alcohol during their pregnancies.
Alcohol is what we call a teratogen or a teratogen. And that means that alcohol will produce lasting birth defects that heroin and cocaine will not. So if you drink during pregnancy, you might not be aware of it, but your chances of harming your baby are more dramatic than if you were using heroin or cocaine. So alcohol is a drug that is at least as dangerous as heroin and cocaine, and actually probably more dangerous to your baby.
Leading preventable cause of their unborn children's developmental issues by simply not drinking during pregnancy.
Fetal alcohol syndrome is the number one preventable cause of developmental delay or mental retardation. And what that means is that if we eliminated alcohol use during pregnancy, we could eliminate the most common cause of developmental delay in children today. So think about that, right? Like the most common reason why children are having developmental delay and mental retardation is completely within our control as mothers to eliminate.
The Supreme Court has agreed to listen to President Obama's executive order that would shield 5 million undocumented immigrants from deportation. John Acosta reports how the president's executive immigration actions have caused quite a stir.
In 2014, President Obama used an executive action in an attempt to implement the DAPA program, Deferred Action for Parents of Americans. It would grant parents of U.S. citizens lawful stay and work permits in the country. In 2012, the president introduced DACA that allows certain undocumented immigrants who entered the country before their 16th birthday and before June 2007 to receive a renewable 2-year work permit and exemption from deportation. Immigration rights advocates like Adriel Orozco of the New Mexico Immigrant Law Center praised both executive orders.
Common sense measures like DACA Plus and DAPA help immigrant workers enter the formal economy and step out of the shadows.
But 1 month after Obama announced the DAPA program, Texas quickly filed a lawsuit that put a freeze on that order. 25 other states have joined that lawsuit. Immigration attorney Carl Rothrock says that President Obama is trying to impress multiple constituencies.
Basically, it's a hot potato. He's trying to please everybody.
Rothrock also says that the president overstepped his authority.
The Constitution says that that's Congress' job.
But Congress has yet to agree on any immigration legislation, and the Supreme Court is now reviewing the case. The state of Texas, which originally filed a lawsuit against President Obama's executive order, argues that if the program is implemented, Texas would lose money. Immigrant advocate Adriel Orozco says that this is a bizarre claim because Obama's order would actually boost government revenues.
It's an odd argument to make. Studies have shown that DACA Plus and DAPA will actually help our economies grow. For example, the Center for American Progress estimates that the Texas economy will grow by $17.6 billion. And in New Mexico, one of the poorest states in the country, our economy would grow $1.2 billion. And even beyond that, immigrants are already contributing to our economy.
Meanwhile, while the courts are busy trying to figure it out, people that would be reaping the benefits of Obama's order are left waiting in anguish. One of those people is Jessica Rodriguez, whose daughters are U.S. citizens.
This relief would help me out a lot because it would grant me the security of being with my family without the fear that a day will come that I'm separated from my daughters. I would also have the opportunity of having my own business because I've always worked for someone else.
The Supreme Court's final decision on Obama's executive action is expected by June 2016. This is John Acosta reporting.
So we're joined today by John Acosta. Thank you, John, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Kelly.
Of course. So the order was implemented around last year, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
And what do you think the Supreme Court's decision is going to be?
Well, this case is in yet another tough predicament because of Supreme Court Judge Antonin Scalia's death, leaving only 8 Supreme Court judges to rule. So if there's a stalemate, 4-4, 4 voting for it and 4 voting against, then that would mean that, that this case would be placed in the back burner. So it's tough to say, really.
So what will that mean for immigrants if it's put on the back burner?
Well, they'd be waiting. It's really about common sense, because there was a report last year around June 2015 saying that over 10 years, these programs would benefit the economy by $230 billion. Oh, wow. And that includes New Mexico as well, one of the poorest states in the country. So it's really about common sense. Unfortunately, politicians are using this to advance their own agenda, and it's more of a political game, and unfortunately the political game is winning right now. So.
Yeah. And we all know that our economy could use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Some entrepreneurs start early. Nicole Gallegos is 19 years old, and she is a full-time student. She also has a part-time job running her up-and-coming photography business. Lexie McGowan reports.
Nicole Gallegos is not just an average student. She works, goes to school, is extremely involved, and still finds time to run a successful photography company.
Photography has always been my passion. It's a great way to showcase the beauty in this world. So I figured I might as well put that passion to use and make some extra money to help out with school.
Gallegos photographs everything from nature scenes to portraits. She says portraits of high school seniors provide the bulk of her income.
Frankly, in terms of money, I focus on senior portraits. I mean, I've sold a couple of my nature scenes, but people will pay you a lot if you're good at taking portraits of people. So it's definitely worth it if you want to make money, even if you aren't totally in love with that type of subject matter.
Gallegos has been a part of various art shows, starting in high school and continuing through college. She says her favorite part of photography is showing the world what her eyes think is stunning and worthy of showing, and that art shows are the perfect place for doing so.
Everyone has a different perspective on the world. What I think is beautiful is not what you might think is beautiful, but this is a great thing about photography. It's the perfect way to show what everyone sees, what everyone thinks is beautiful. That's the cool part about going to art shows or being even involved in them.
While photography is a passion that turned into a part-time job for Gallegos, with her growing portfolio, she says becoming a professional photographer is definitely on her horizon. This is Lexie McGowan reporting.
Wow, that's a lot to take on for a college student. Hopefully she stays successful.
I'm quite the shutterbug there. I usually take photos of food, mostly dogs. Mostly.
Thank you. So I'm Kelly Urvanejo.
I'm Kevin Maestas.
This is UNM News.